This is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, we're going to go ahead and unbox the all-new, in the USA, the Hurom H330 juicer. This machine has been introduced in other countries around the world several years prior to this, but literally, in my opinion, Hurom is getting beat up in the United States because their juicer sales are pretty slow. Because there's another company out there that I'm sure you have seen online because they have an influencer army, the J2, that sells for a lot more money. And you know, for those of you guys that can't afford the J2, I'm going to show you guys why you should get the H330 instead. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up these boxes, show you guys how similar these boxes actually are. Alright guys, so check it out. Over on this side we have the famous juicer that many influencers promote, and you can see how it's set up and looks on the inside. And we open the H330, pretty much looks the same. It's like Hurom has duplicated exactly what the other company has been selling for many years now. Now, why would they do this? Well, what most of you guys don't know, the secret in the industry, is that Hurom makes this very juicer for the company that sells it. The company that sells it, in my opinion, is nothing more than a marketing company. They buy the machines from Hurom, and then they basically do an excellent job at marketing, and then that's why you are, familiar with this brand and this machine due to the influencer army. That also means because they're buying it from Hurom, they got to mark up the price and then charge more, and that's why this machine, which is basically identical, in my opinion, in the internal workings and the exact juicing parts, for the most part, is $140 less money. So if you guys are looking for the performance of one of these machines, then you should go for this machine, which is basically made by Hurom, the same factory that makes the machine over here. And what you guys don't know is that Hurom has been making small appliances over in South Korea for the last 50 years. Also, Hurom is literally invented the first vertical auger juicer 21 years ago now. And the other first that Hurom has had is that Hurom was the first company to have a hopper style juicer. Honestly, I didn't like that first style hopper juicer. Came out in around 2018. So that's literally 8 years ago Hurom had the first hopper style juicer, despite other companies wanting to claim, that it was their invention. So anyways, in this episode, let's go ahead and dive deep into the H330. We're going to get the same performance as the more expensive machine without the high price, because Hurom can sell it to you guys direct and save you guys the money and cut out the middleman. So as you guys can see, I got the Hurom H330 unboxed here, and this is everything you get with the machine. Of course, you always want to start with the Start Here envelope, and you want to go ahead and open this up. When you open this up, you'll get a few things. You'll get a hidden tag to make sure you're getting an authorized Hurom product. They have a special tag on the back that is holographic that can't be duplicated. And so this can be a problem with other machines where there may be knockoffs on the market. Of course, you're going to get your warranty registration and quick assembly instructions. Need to let you guys know that the Hurom H330 has a full 15-year warranty on not only the motor, but also all the juicing parts. Hurom can back this up because they have been making appliances in South Korea for over 50 years. And of course, there are other companies that also offer a full 15-year warranty on the motor and parts. And Hurom has a confidence in their products because they've been manufacturing, other juicers for other companies as an OEM manufacturer, and they know the durability of it. Of course, you always want to start with the Start Here. If you don't read anything else in the instruction packet here, you want to check out the Start Here guide. This is basically give you the basics you need to know on how to operate the juicer properly. And of course, Hurom gives you an amazing recipe book that is in multiple languages with lots of information, full color pictures with different recipes you can make to help get you started juicing in your H330. And also, of course, they give you that instruction manual that you should read to learn how to use the machine. So that's all the paperwork that comes with the machine, but besides just the machine itself, and you once again have that motor base that runs at a low and slow 50 revolutions per minute. This is the slowest screen style hopper based machine to make juicing easy for you. It also, of course, includes a standard IEC cord, includes the pusher that people can use to push the produce in. Basically, I never use a pusher on a hopper juicer. They also include the coarse sieve. If you guys want to make a pulpier juice, I do recommend you guys use this sieve whenever you're juicing fruits or just for more texture in your juice, because most Americans, unfortunately, are deficient in fiber. And when you juice, while you do keep the soluble fiber that comes out in the juice that dissolves in the liquid, you're removing the majority of the insoluble fiber that comes out where the pulp comes out. If you use this screen, you'll be keeping more of the insoluble fiber in your juice as small particles as well. Of course, you will also get a cleaning brush that you will need to scrub out that stainless steel juicing screen when you're done juicing. And of course, you'll also get a juice catch cup to catch the juice, and you'll get a pulp catch cup to catch all the pulp as it comes out of the machine. All right, so let's go ahead and get this juicer set up and show you guys more about how it works and how it compares to the other machines on the market. All right, guys, so next up, we're gonna go ahead and show you guys how the H330 works, how to disassemble it, how to assemble it, and compare it to juicing parts of the other machine on the market. That being said, before we go any further, I wanna show you guys the reason for the H330, in my opinion, and why did Hurom bring this model into the United States when Hurom already has a whole different spectrum of juicers in the market in the United States, like so many different models that unfortunately may confuse people. So in my opinion, Hurom brought the H330 in the United States to basically directly compete against the J2 model at a much lower price point, right? So now people that can't afford the J2 can get this machine for significantly less money. At the time this video is being filmed, this machine, the H330, is $140 less than the other machine on the market that has a lot of influencers behind it. You know, my job is to basically show you guys all the different models on the market so you guys can find the best deal and get the right juicer for you. I play no favorites. I have made videos for all the different major brands on the market and promote all the major brands to you so you guys can find the best machine for you. No company can pay me off, although I do have relationships with all the major companies. You know, so when you do use my links and coupon codes, the companies will share with me a small commission so that I can continue to make these educational videos for you guys to show you guys the truth about the machines, because unfortunately, in my opinion, so many people are out there just trying to pull the wool over your eyes because they don't have the experience that I do. Over 30 years juicing, over 25 years owning my company where I sell juicers and other high-end processing equipment to allow you to process your fruits and vegetables and other plant foods and maintain the highest nutritional quality. And if you guys want to get the best deal on the H330 right now, make sure you guys use the coupon code VALUE at Hurom.com. This will allow you to save an additional 10% off, and at the time this video is being posted, this will get you guys this machine for a little bit over $400, which is an insane price for the hopper-based technology. I mean, they have imported Chinese-made machines. The high-end Chinese-made hoppers are like $300, so this is literally $100 more for a South Korean made by Hurom, that same company that makes the other machine for the other company, as well as who's been making appliances in Korea for the last 50 years, and of course, originated the vertical hopper style juicer, has over 100 patents on juicing technology, so that now you can have this at a more affordable price and get pretty much the same exact performance. And now you can get this for the lowest price ever. I don't want you guys to miss out on this deal because this deal will expire really soon. Right now, Hurom USA is offering this at the lowest introductory price, and plus my coupon code VALUE will save you guys an additional 10% off. So I want to thank you guys who will use that coupon code. Not only will you get the lowest price, but also Hurom will share with you a small commission so I can continue to make these educational, honest, non-biased videos for you guys so you guys can find the right juicer for you. So thank you so much. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and take apart the H320 and find out how it works. So first up, you're going to go ahead and pull this off. The first thing you're going to notice two handles on the back, right? This can be quite handy. Some of the people that I've known that have bought other machines, you know, sometimes it's hard to take apart the top on the bottom because other machines may only have one handle on the top and no handle on the bottom. This allows you to get maximum leverage should you juice something like ginger without pre-cutting and the auger gets jacked up and it makes these pieces hard to remove. You could basically grab both of them and then twist them apart and the hopper could come off. On the hopper, you just press this button and then the lid opens up. This lid is also removable, has a nice sturdy hinge on it. And this hopper basically holds a total of 2 liters of produce, the same amount of produce as other machines on the market. It also has this very aggressive processing blade that looks pretty much similar to the other machine on the market as well. And I wonder why these look so similar is because, once again, Hurom makes the machine for the other company that's out there. Next up, we got the main juicing parts coming out. This is how the juicer operates. You have that automatic wiping blade that spins around that basically squeegees off the juicing screen to get all the juice out. This comes apart. You will need to clean this when you're done. And of course, you have the stainless steel juicing screen and you have the auger. So what happens is as the produce basically gets chunked up and crushed up, by this processing blade, it cuts it into smaller pieces. It also rotates and feeds the produce into this hole, which then it goes down into here, and then this auger spins around, chops up into a smaller piece, and literally grinds it up into smaller pieces until it grinds it so much that the juice comes out, and the juice comes out the screen here, and the pulp flows out the bottom hole right here. So this is the main technology that literally Hurom invented 26 years ago for the first vertical juicer in the USA. Anyways, it was like the Hurom H330, I believe, or the Omega VRT330, which is basically the same exact juicing style. All right, now just to compare, right, here's the juicing parts off the popular selling juicer that most influencers promote these days, right? And we're going to just put this to the side. And let's go ahead and compare the auger out of the best-selling juicer that most people promote these days. And look at this. They look identical. I mean, they even got the divots. They're like identical there, guys. And then we have the wiping blade. And look at these wiping blades. I mean, these look like they came out of the same exact mold. And that's probably because they did come out of the same exact mold. And of course, then we also have the juicing screen that, to me, I can't see any difference in the juicing screen other than the cutouts. So on the Hurom cutouts, it's like a square cutout, and on the other cutout, it's kind of a rounded cutout. This allows you to assemble it easier, but these are basically using the same exact materials. And once again, guys, with the Hurom H330, you're going to save at this time $140 less than the more expensive machine that, you know, that middlemen are charging a bigger markup on. Hurom can cut the prices, even though other companies have raised prices on their machines. Hurom can cut the prices because they are the manufacturer, right? They could save you guys the money and cut out the middleman, sell direct you guys, so you guys get the best price and basically the same performance. All right, guys, so now I want to show you guys the juicing bowl. And how the juicing bowl works is basically as the produce gets juiced, the pulp goes out this little orange plug, which then you can open this up so you can easily clean in this area. This is where the pulp comes out. This orange plug acts as some back pressure to keep the pulp inside the machine so it doesn't let it out until it gets wrung out and dry. And then over on this side, this is where the juice comes out, and you have a juice spout. So should you want to make nut milk, like I'll be making in a little bit in the H330, you can close this to get mixing done in the bowl. Typically, I recommend to keep this spout open when juicing most items. Although when you do close this spout, 2 things will happen. Number 1, you're probably going to get a little bit less foam in the juice. But number 2, the juice yield may go down a little bit. So that's a pro and a con to leave this closed. And if you do leave this closed, you want to make sure that you open it up by the time the juice level kind of goes up, because then you could get backing up, which would not be a good thing. I do like the easy handle. This makes this a bowl a lot easier to handle than other machines that don't have this handle. So to assemble this machine, it's super simple, super easy. You're going to take that wiping blade and put it through the screen so that it easily rotates down. There's going to be these notches, so there's a large notch and a small notch, and you just need to line that up with the juicing bowl. There's a large notch and a small notch. So basically, we just drop that in right there, and it just fully seats down nice and easily. Then you take the auger and you just drop the auger in. As you push the auger in, you may need to drop it in and spin it down a little bit to make sure it's fully seated. And then finally, you could take the hopper, hold that with one hand, hold this with one hand. And this is really easy to line up, guys. I mean, this is a big problem I see on other machines out there. because these handles always need to line up. So you basically offset these handles, and then you just turn it and lock them together so that these handles should be right over the other. Right, on other machines you can assemble it backwards and then the machine won't work, right? So this makes it bulletproof so that you assemble it correctly every single time. And of course then we have the lid to go on the top, shut it down, and then we could set that on top of the machine. And if you've assembled it correctly, which is pretty much impossible to not assemble it correctly in my opinion. So if you assemble it correctly, you could go ahead and hit the on button, and then the machine will come on. And as you could hear, this is a very quiet machine running at a low and slow 50 RPMs. So while this is running, let's go ahead and do a sound check or a decibel check on the machine. Alright guys, so on the decibel meter, we're getting basically a total of 60 to 62 decibels. So this is a very quiet machine that you can use while your family or roommates are sleeping. You know, some machines are high-speed machines and they sound like an airplane taking off in your kitchen, which is one customer described it to me before. You know, this is a quiet machine, low and slow juicer. This makes a cold press juice, a very high quality juice using that stainless steel screen and auger design. Now before we get into juicing celery in the H330 today, you know, I have to give you guys my honest update and my opinions on this topic, right? If you're considering the more expensive machine made by Hurom, right, then the best alternative would be this one, because it's has pretty much the same juicing extraction technology, same size hopper, and of course $140 less, so you can basically get that same machine performance at a much lower cost. That being said, while that other machine came out in 2021 and this style machine by Hurom came out in 2022, Hurom, because they've been in business now for 50 years, they put a lot of money into their R&D department. So when you buy a Hurom H330 or H320 or the other machine out there, you're literally getting 4 to 5 year old technology, right? It's like buying an iPhone made in 2022 or 2021, right? iPhones have improved, cell phones have improved, and guess what? Juicing technology has also improved. So, you know, while this machine is still durable, time proven, and it works, Hurom has upped the game and even improved since then. So the latest 2025 release, which is this model right here, this is the Hurom H330. This is my preferred model and actually my favorite juicer at this time this video is being filmed. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it, but what I will say is that while this machine takes me 4 to 5 minutes to clean, as does the other machine that uses a similar extraction method, right? The Hurom H330 takes me a minute to clean that I've timed in the original unboxing, literally 60 seconds. So why does this matter? This gets me to juice more. This will get you to juice more. This is what I've heard from customers out there, that they juice more because it's easier to clean. And of course, both these machines have that easy to fill hopper that you can load up with your produce. So, you know, I have to take this moment out of this video to show you guys my favorite machine, the H330. Yes, it does cost more than the low price leader, the H330, but if you have more money, then it's going to definitely save you time. And the only thing I'll mention is that I want you guys to click the link down below, which is my favorite juicer. After testing all the models for 30 years, it's the H330. This is the one I use most. Of course, it is also several $100s more expensive than the H320. So if you're that budget conscious consumer just looking for that performance of other machines out there that you can't afford, then this machine is it. But if you have a little bit more money to spend and invest in your health, then I'd highly encourage you guys to move towards the H330. It's going to be a lot easier to clean. It does put a little bit more pulp in the juice, but some of the yields are comparable to the screen-based design. Of course, if you didn't want that pulp, you could always use a sieve to remove it after it comes out of the machine. All right, guys, so next up, we're going to go ahead and juice in the H330 to find out how well it juices celery. I know a lot of you guys juice celery out there and want to know how well does that juicer juice celery, John? So that's what I'm going to do for you guys today. This is basically organic celery, 2.5 pounds. Places like Costco and Sam's Club sell it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take out the celery, and we're just going to chop it up into smaller pieces, right? This allows you to more effectively fill that hopper to the maximum capacity, it also help the juicer to work a little bit better. So we're going to cut it into like maybe 3/4 inch to 1 inch pieces. The smaller you cut it, the more you can fit in the hopper. The larger you cut it, you know, the less you'll be able to fit in the hopper due to it won't like basically Tetris in there as well. So you guys can see pretty much we already almost fit half of the bag into the hopper. All right, the last half of the celery coming out, and let's just go ahead and pre-cut this into smaller-ish pieces. All right, let's go ahead and load this into the hopper. All right, we got that hopper pretty much full. Looks like we aren't able to fit everything in there, but that's all right. So we're just gonna go ahead and shut that lid, lock it down, and press the on button. And check it out, before we know it, the machine is running at a low and slow 50 RPMs. They're literally crush and squeeze out every last drop of the celery juice. And as you guys can see, we got that nice pure celery juice coming out over on this side. And if we look over on this side, you guys can see the pulp is instantly starting to come out. As the hopper uses up some of the celery, as it gets juiced and it comes out, we have more space. So now we can just take some of this celery and just drop it in the chute to keep it going and fill up the hopper all the way. Now, of course, the main innovation to the H330 and other hopper style machines like it is that once you fill up that hopper with all your produce, you do not need to babysit the machine. You can go off and do other things. In the olden days, juices would require you to push each produce item into the machine one by one, taking up your valuable time. That's really the latest innovation in this machine, that it does all the juicing, all the hard work for you so that you don't have to. So meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and clean up this mess, and we're going to come back at you when the juicer's all done. We'll speed this up so you guys can see the process. Alright guys, so before I even knew it, right, the Hurom H330 finished juicing all that celery without an issue. We're going to go ahead and turn the machine off, and it looks like we made approximately 700 milliliters of the fresh celery juice. We're going to go ahead and pour that out and try it for you guys on camera. Look at that nice consistency, virtually pulp-free. Let's go ahead and taste this. Really nice and vibrant color. Wow. That's one of the best celery juices I've tasted in a while, right? Super fresh, super vibrant. I think I want to drink all that. But yeah, H330 juiced all the celery for the win without an issue. And let's go ahead and check out the pulp here. So this is the pulp, and we're just going to go ahead and check the pulp and do the squeeze test. And as you guys can see, we can squeeze some juice out of it. So one of the things I like to do on the H330 as well as other machines is rejuice the pulp. So let's go ahead and attempt to rejuice the pulp with some cubed up jicama, which is my favorite way to extract more juice out of your pulp. All right, guys, so next up I want to show you guys the secret of getting your pulp super dry. Other influencers will not simply show you guys this, but I'm a really frugal guy, especially these days, as all the produce prices have gone up on everything for unfortunate reasons. That being said, I want you guys to extract the most nutritional value out of your fruits and vegetables, the ones you are paying your hard-earned money for. And when there is juice left in the pulp, that means you're leaving nutrition on the table that is either going to get composted, hopefully, or just, unfortunately, thrown away. So the easy way to do that is just pick up some jicama. This is a root vegetable. This one is grown in Mexico. Some of you guys may have this available at a local Hispanic or Asian or ethnic market near you. Some major grocery stores will sell this, although it will be waxed. I think when I got this, it was around 50 cents a pound on sale. That being said, if you guys don't have jicama available near you, another really good vegetable to use that has a neutral flavor is kohlrabi, which will also work. And of course, you also could use something like carrots as well. But I really like the jicama because it basically doesn't impart a strong flavor to the juice, and also because jicama is a nitrate accumulator and also rich in inulin. This can help with your blood flow as well as improve your microbiome. So the first step is we need to peel this jicama. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and chop off the top, chop off the bottom here, and I'm going to set this down. I'm just going to use a knife. I always like to use ceramic knives. Links down below to my Amazon shop where I, recommend all my favorite tools I use. So we'll just come down and we're just going to go ahead and cut off the outer coloring. Very important on the jicama, also known as the yam bean. Every part of the plant, aside from the tuber, is toxic. Normally you'll never see these for sale, but I do encourage you guys to definitely peel this as well. Don't take any chances with the peel of this root vegetable as well. Alright guys, so once we got the jicama peel, this is the most important part when rejuicing any kind of pulp. I've rejuiced fruit pulp, other root vegetable pulps, and everything, always using my favorite, the jicama. We want to put this and cut this into little small cubes. The issue is when you put the pulp back in the hopper, it'll tend to stick to the sides and not get funneled in, but we're going to make these small little cubes that's going to help attach to the pulp and then get sucked in to the machine. So we're just going to go ahead and cut this in half once, and then we're just going to go ahead and cut this into long strips, and then we're going to go ahead and turn it on the side to cut this into some cubes. Alright, so as you guys can see, I basically have cut this up, and you guys can see I basically have cut it into little small cubes. So now the technique is, number one, I'll take like basically a handful of these cubes, and we're just going to go ahead and drop it into the hole of the machine, and we're just going to go ahead and turn the machine on, because the goal now is I want to get all the celery pulp that's stuck inside the machine to come out. So I'm waiting for the nice white jicama pulp to come out. This way I know I'm going to be able to rejuice all the celery. And as you guys can see, we got already the juice coming out. So this is a jicama juice mixed with some of the celery. And as you guys can see, the pulp pretty much is now coming out all white. So that tells me that there's no celery pulp left in the machine. We're just going to go ahead now and open up the hopper. And then we're going to go ahead and take out the celery pulp. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and drop in like one handful of the celery pulp, and then we're going to drop in one handful of the jicama cubes. We're going to go ahead and take another handful of the celery pulp and try to distribute it evenly in there. And the same thing, we're going to take another handful of the jicama cubes. So I'm just going to go ahead and layer this up, basically one handful at a time. This will basically get it evenly mixed, so that when the machine starts running, all the jicama cubes will help get the softer, stickier celery pulp back through the machine. You know, these are the kind of tips you guys are going to get on my YouTube channel, because I just don't say, hey, buy this machine. I show you guys how I juice so you guys could maximize your money when you buy the expensive produce. And of course, I also will have videos like this where I show you guys the most affordable machine, because I'm all about saving you guys money so you can regain your health, right? And of course, this machine is made in South Korea. South Korea makes the best juicers on the market. I encourage you guys not to trust juicers from China. I've had many videos on this topic before, especially with your health. And you know, at this price, because it's the most affordable, solid, Korean-made machine with full 15-year warranty, right? Don't short yourself out. Some of those Chinese-made machines may claim a 15-year warranty, but if you look at the fine print, it's only on the motor, and they have a short 90-day warranty on all the juicer parts. And honestly, guys, the parts most likely to break on juicers are all the juicing parts, not the motor. All right, guys, so we got all the pulp back in the machine, and we're just going to go ahead and put another handful of the jicama pulp on top, and we're going to save a little bit of the jicama pulp for the end. And then we're just going to go ahead and shut that lid, and we're just going to go ahead and let the juicer now do a double extract on that celery pulp, extracting all those nutrients. Now, of course, I have the straight celery juice that I know some people recommend drinking for your health. This is not straight celery juice, but now this is improved celery juice in my opinion, because you're not only getting the second grind on the celery, which then blows open more cell walls and extracts more nutrients from the celery, but now it is being infused with the jicama that has a nice sweet flavor for us. Although it doesn't contain sugar, it contains the inulin that tastes sweet to us, but we cannot digest it. Our microbiome digests that. So whether you want to have this for a nightcap, for later in the day, or for your husband, wife, or kids that can't stomach straight celery juice, this would be an excellent alternative, so that at least they'll get some celery juice in them, plus also the amazing jicama as well. So as this is running, we're just going to go ahead and enjoy my celery juice, and actually we're going to go ahead and let this machine work without me. Alright guys, so once the celery and the jicama has been fully juiced and the hopper is pretty much empty, we could go ahead and lift up that lid, and now we're going to go ahead and take the rest of our jicama that we saved, and we're just going to go ahead and put that in, because what's left inside the machine is the celery pulp with jicama, but now I want to flush it with virgin jicama, so I make sure I get all that celery pulp double extracted to get the most yield. You know, normally you'd have to buy like a $2,500 juicer press just to press out that pulp, right? No longer with the automatic Hurom H330. You can just put in some jicama cubes and it'll rejuice all your softer pulps, getting you guys even a further extraction. So it looks like we made about 750 milliliters more of juice by rejuicing the celery pulp with that virgin jicama. And you guys always know when the juicer's done juicing, when the juice stops dripping and the pulp stops moving out. So now is the time you can turn off the machine, close that spout cap, and now I want to show you guys the pulp that we just created by rejuicing the celery, right, with the jicama and the juice. So I mean, number one, we made about 750 milliliters more of juice, so we're just going to go ahead and pour some of that out. And so like it's a nice kind of like light green texture. And before, when I squeezed the celery pulp, it was rather wet, but now I could go ahead and take a bunch of this out and squeeze it, and you know, it's much drier. So we've extracted more of that delicious juice out of the celery, and I'm going to go ahead and try this on camera for you guys. Wow, so to me I taste mostly the jicama and just small bits of celery. So the jicama is a very neutral flavor. I don't want to say it tastes like nothing, but it has like, it doesn't really taste like much. It has like a faint, you know, sweetness, like a little bit chalky, like you just juice sweet potatoes, but very little. But yeah, this is another excellent juice to get a second extract on your celery pulp or any other pulp that you would make in the Hurom H330 for that matter. Alright guys, so we just got done making juice in the Hurom H330. Now I want to show you guys how it can make nut milk as well. So I started with basically 1 cup of almonds I soaked. They recommend you soak it like overnight to get the almonds soft. This also will release the enzyme inhibitors. And then you're going to go ahead and then drain that off. And then you're going to go ahead and add additional water. So I have the 1 cup of soaked almonds. I added 3 additional cups of water. So 4 cups total. You will then need a ladle because you will want to basically try to get even amounts of water and nuts at the same time to feed into the H330 juicer. So to do this, you're going to go ahead and first, very important point, close that spout cap. So you're going to get the nut milk to circulate inside there while it extracts the almond richness. All right, turn it on, and we're just going to go ahead and dump in ladle by ladle the water with some of the nuts at the same time. So mostly water with a few nuts. And as you guys can see, we are getting the nut milk out as the nuts are being ground up. The milk is accumulating inside the juicing bowl. So in order to save you guys some time, we're just going to go ahead and speed this part of the video up to show you guys the end result. Alright guys, so the last the nuts and the water are going in the machine, and good enough because looks like we've pretty much maxed out capacity of the juicing bowl here. It's up to the brim, so you don't really want to do more than 1 quart at a time. If you added more, it could overflow. So once you have added all your nuts, you want to make sure that the pulp stops moving out, the nut pulp. And then when you're ready, you could go ahead and release the nut milk. So you guys can check it out, right? We got delicious nut milk coming out. We literally juiced up those almonds, extracted all the fat, the richness, and the goodness out of the almonds, leaving all the fiber behind. Now, I'll be the first to tell you guys that I'm not the biggest fan of making nut milks with a juicer because the juicer is not as effective as, say, a vacuum blender to grind up the nuts to the smallest particle size to make a nut milk. Although I will say this is a lot easier process than vacuum blending the nuts and then straining it out with a nut milk bag. Alright, so you guys can see we got the nut milk made here as well as the fresh juice, all made with the Hurom H330. So next up, as I showed you guys to get a second extract on your juice pulp, I'm now going to show you guys how to get a second extract on your nut pulp. Nobody else will show you guys this, but I'm showing you guys my secrets that I know and have learned over the many years to extract every last bit of goodness out of the pulp that comes out of the H330 machine. So to get a second extract on the nut milk and make it more rich and creamy, you're going to go ahead and once again take out a larger mixing bowl, and we're just going to go ahead and drop all that nut milk back in there. Then we're going to go ahead and take all the nut pulp that came out of the machine. We're trying to get out as much of this as we can out of the spout. We're gonna go ahead and then take the pulp, drop it back into the nut milk. Very important step. You're gonna want to stir this up and try to break up that nut pulp into smaller bits and pieces, right? Because they're in large chunks. So now we're basically like mixing it back in. Because what we're gonna do now is now we're just gonna go ahead and ladle in this mixture a little bit at a time with the spout cap closed once again. So now the machine could get a second extract and grind up those nut fibers even smaller, extracting a more delicious and rich and thick and creamy nut milk, all right? So once we got all that mixed up, we're gonna go ahead and once again turn the machine on, and we're just gonna go ahead and ladle in 1 spoonful at a time. All right, guys, we got the last ladle full of the nut milk with the pulp going back through the machine, and it looks like this has worked beautifully. As you guys can see, we even got a more reduced down nut pulp with a second extract where the machine got to run it through a second time and grind it up even finer. Why this is very valuable is because if you think about it, when you make nut milk in a blender, there is being multiple hits on the almonds to get those ground down to the smallest particle size. And while the juicer is amazing at juicing water-rich fruits and vegetables, right, not the best at juicing nuts. When you have a single pass through, right, it doesn't grind those nuts down to the smallest particle size. But when you do a second pass such as this, you extract more of those beneficial nutrients and creaminess, fats, out of the nuts to have an even creamier nut milk. So for the second time in this video, let's go ahead and release the Kraken. Release the nut milk. All right, check it out, guys. This is even more rich, deeper, thicker, and creamier. You know, normally when it comes out the first time, to me, it's kind of more watery. This is gonna be more rich and thick because we've extracted more of that goodness out of the nuts. All those different polyphenols, flavonoids, as well as the rich fatty acids that are in the nuts. We're just gonna go ahead and let that drain off a little bit more, but I wanna show you guys while this is still running, we'll go ahead and turn it off. Show you guys this pulp. Now this pulp is now ground down even further, right? And check this out, guys. I could take this nut pulp and squeeze it. I can't even squeeze a drop out of it, guys. This is like Play-Doh now. And this is like really, if you just dehydrated this, you would have literally almond flour because it's ground up just much more. So this is a technique I want you guys to use, right? You're not going to see these on other channels because people are just going to give you guys the surface stuff. I go deep. I want to show you guys all the information I know to improve your lives, make it better, right? And I'm so glad that I got to show you guys the H330 today, right? The low price leader. If you guys want the top quality machine at the lowest price, that's why Hurom brought this in at the lowest price. And right now it is $140 off that main expensive machine you guys saw earlier in this episode. And make sure you guys use that coupon code VALUE, which will save you guys an additional 10% off, getting you guys the lowest price on a South Korean made machine, same performance and 15-year warranty. Now I want to go ahead and show you guys that amazing nut milk I just made. Look at this consistency, guys. Look at that nut milk, nice, rich, creamy, and thick. And I'll taste this for you guys on the camera. Wow, that's much better. Now I will say, because we ran the pulp through a second time, right, more of that pulp did come through the sieve, so it's a little more grainier, but that is more fiber for you. So that's a good thing. Of course, you can use a sieve to remove it if you don't want to. So at the end of this episode, to recap, we made the 100% celery juice. We then rejuice the celery with jicama to make a celery jicama juice. We then make the nut milk, and then we rejuice the nut milk with the nut pulp again to make even a thicker nut milk, right? All with the Hurom H330. Showed you guys the durability of this machine made in South Korea in the same exact factory that machine that cost $140 more costs, right? This will get basically the same results as a more expensive machine at a lower price point. And I've run this through its test today because rejuicing pulp is not something you should necessarily do in other machines. It may even break other machines. So yeah, the Hurom H330 is a solid performer, and I would definitely recommend it to you instead of buying more expensive machines that use the same exact technology, because once again, Hurom is simply cutting out the middleman to gain more market share, and that's what I'm all about. Giving you guys more options, right? Especially lower price options than some of the options that are out there, so you guys can get the same exact high-end results and not spend your hard-earned money. So you have more money to spend on quality, organic, locally grown produce, and even get second extracts, as I've shown you guys today. So if you guys want to get the lowest price on the Hurom H330, the same exact performance as those more expensive machines, and at the time of this initial release, that literally will make this machine, using my coupon code VALUE, a little bit over $400. So that is an amazing price. Don't delay, don't wait, because this price will end soon, because right now you're able to double dip. You're double dipping on the initial release sale price of the Hurom H330, as well as my special 10% off discount code. So I want to thank you guys who will use my coupon code to invest in this amazing machine with full 15-year warranty. Also, of course, it allows me to buy my almonds, buy my celery, pay my light bill, and pay my amazing video editor who gets these videos edited for you guys. So I want to thank you guys so I can continue to do this amazing work that I love, where I get to share with you guys all my tips and techniques and knowledge about the machines that I've learned over all these years. That being said, I'd also recommend you guys check the link down below to my favorite juicer after 30 years of testing them all, which is the Hurom H70. While this is older technology and still works great, right? My money is on the Hurom H70, which is the machine I use most when I'm not making an unboxing video like I am today. So if you guys enjoyed this content, want more videos with the Hurom H330 where I compare it to other models on the market, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. More importantly, share this with other people so that they can be aware of the low price leader made in South Korea, full 15-year warranty, similar performance to higher end models without that high price. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below. You never know what new juicers I'll be unboxing, what new appliances I'll be comparing against each other, so you guys could get the right appliance for you. And make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check out past episodes. Past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 900 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to you guys all about the best equipment to process your fruits and vegetables and other plant foods to maintain the most nutrition. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.